press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, we are in atomic structure. And this is part 16. So we solved some questions earlier. Today we are continuing with question solutions only. Clear? Right. We have a question here. The transition in helium plus ion that would have the same wavelength as the first Lyman line in hydrogen spectrum. The transition, this is probably question number 16. The transition of helium plus ion, because in our last class we discussed almost 15 questions. The transition of helium ion that would have same wavelength, as the first Lyman series, as the first Lyman line of hydrogen spectrum is. So we have options 2 to 1, then option B is 5 to 3, option C is 4 to 2, and option D is 6 to 4. Our question is, in helium ion, what transition should occur? In helium ion, what transition should occur? Where from electrons should come back from excited state to ground state, so that its wavelength is same to that of first Lyman line. Which line? Lyman line of hydrogen spectrum. So let us first of all calculate wave number, which will be in terms of wavelength also. We'll equate the wave numbers. So if you equate the wave numbers, you will get wave number equals to RHZ square into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. And for same transition to occur, wave number of helium ion should be RHZ square. For helium, Z is 4 into, because 2 square, Z square will be 4, 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. Because we are talking about which line? We are talking about first line of which series? Lyman series in hydrogen. So wave number will be equal to RHZ for hydrogen is 1 divided by first line of Lyman series. In Lyman series, what is N1? It is 1. First line will make N2 will be equal to 2. So that will make it 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square. So we want the wavelengths of it to be same. That is wave number or 1 by lambda of, because wave number is inversely proportional wavelength. So 1 by lambda of V hydrogen should be equal to 1 by lambda of helium. So wave numbers of hydrogen should be equal to wave number of helium here. So that will make it what? Wave number of hydrogen. What is that given to you by RHZ square? So it is RH, the 2 will be off, RH will be over. Oh, yes or no? So we can write this one also as wave number of helium plus will be equal to what? 4 by N1 square minus 4 by N2 square. Correct or not? So when you relate it out, what you will get here? For hydrogen to helium, we are asked for helium. So wave number of helium plus, because they are equated out to that of hydrogen and helium. So 4 by, it will give you 4 by N1 square in helium will be equal to 1 by 1 square. So that will make it N1 square equals to 4. What is N1 equal to 2? Okay, second transition should be 4 by N2 square should be equal to 1 by 4. Which line we are talking about? Which line? As the first line of which series? Lyman series. So 2 square, that makes it 4. Or yes or no? So what is n square equal to? N1 square equals to 4. So what will be N2 square equal to here? Faster. 16. So what is N2 equal to here? 4. So children, we got N1 equal to fast 2 and N2 equal to 4. So the transition should occur from 4 to 2. Only the wave numbers of the two should be same. So correct option will be option C. I hope you got my point here. So I equated the wave numbers. So wave number of helium plus should be equal to the, for that line, it should be equal to the wave number of hydrogen. For hydrogen, we know wave number equals to Ra z square 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square. But for helium, z is 4. It will be 4 by n1 square minus 4 by n2 square. So when you equate it out, we'll get what? 1 by 1 square equals to 4 by n1 square. Because the wave number should be same, then these two values should also be same. Yes. Then 4 by n2 square equals to 4 by n2 square equals to 1 by 4. So n2 square makes it 16, n2 will be 4. So children, we can say in hydrogen Lyman series, electron when it is coming from 2 to 1, its wave number will be same. In n1 is here 2, n1 is 2 and n2 is 4. Wave number of which series? Balmer series, when the electron is coming from 4 to 2. So I mean to say the wavelength of the line emitted by the first line of which series? Lyman series will be equal to the wave number of the second line of Balmer series. Am I clear? So the correct option will be option 3. That is N2 should be 4 and N1 should be 1. Right children? Excellent. Let us see next question. Go question number 17. Let's read the question here. Question is, which of the following orbitals does not have angular node? Which of the following orbitals does not have angular node? So when you want to find out angular node, L value should be equal to 0. Simple. Options are px orbital, then option B is dz square orbital, option C is py orbital, and option D is 1s orbital. So for an orbital to have its angular node, there should be no angular node. So we already know that the number of angular nodes is given by L. So for P, what is L value? 1. So there will be 1 angular node. For D, what is L value? 2. So there will be 2 angular nodes. For P again, what is L value? 1. So there will be 1 angular node. For S, what is the value of L? It is 0. So there will be no angular node for 1s. So correct option will be 1s. Keep it in mind. Number of nodes equals to n minus 1 is number of nodes. So L will be the number of which nodes? Angular nodes. And n minus L minus 1 will be which nodes? Radial nodes. Am I clear, children? Excellent. Let us move to the next question. The ratio of radii of 3 Bohr orbits. Question is, the ratio of radii of 3 Bohr orbits. Question number 19. What is that? Ratio of radii of 3 Bohr orbits. Options are 1 is to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3. Option B 1 is to 2 is to 3. Option C 1 is to 4 is to 9. And option D 1 is to 8 is to 27. Now, we know, children, when you want to find out radius of any orbital, radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom equals to what? 0.53 into n square by z angstroms. We are finding out the ratio, so the values are not given in terms of angstroms. We can write down the general formula. Radius of nth orbital equals to a0 into n square by z. We know z equals to 1 here for hydrogen atom. And according to question, we have been asked the ratio of radii of 3 Bohr orbits. That is 1, 2 and 3. That is for first, second and third orbit. Then we can write down radius of nth orbital. Which one? Radius of first Bohr orbit will be a0 into 1 and second one will be a0 into 2 square, that makes it 4, and r3 will be a0 into n square, that is 3 square, that will be 9. So the ratio will be, because a0 is 0.53, a constant value, so it will be 1 is to 4 is to 9. So this should be the ratio of radii, 1 is to 4 is to 9. So the correct option will be option option C. Clear, children? Excellent. Let's move to the next question. Question is direct. The heaviest subatomic particle is, which of the following is the heaviest subatomic particle? Neutron, positron, electron, proton. And we know it is neutron. And what's the mass? 1.627 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Clear? Very good. Bohr atomic model can explain the spectrum of. So we can apply Bohr's model. Bohr atomic model explains spectrum of. What does Bohr's model explain the spectrum of? 1. Any uni electron system. Atom with 2 electrons. Third one, hydrogen molecule. And fourth option is hydrogen atoms only. So we know correct option is any system which contains uni electrons. And you have seen a uni electron system is giving you so many line spectrums, so many series. If it's a multi-electron system, then computing and calculating the wavelengths and wave numbers will be extremely difficult. So we know we can apply it to helium plus also, lithium 2 plus also, then beryllium 3 plus also, so on and so forth. But when you go in higher atomic numbers, getting the uni electron systems out of the atoms which have high electron systems like boron, carbon, nitrogen becomes extremely difficult, because nucleus practically will not allow most of the electrons to be ionized out. Am I clear? So it can be applied to any uni electron system which is given to you. Right. Question number next is, the line spectrum of 2 elements is not identical. Good question actually. So this is question number 21. Line spectrum of 2 atoms is not identical. Why? Options are they do not have same neutrons. Option B is they have dissimilar mass number. They have dissimilar mass number. Third one is they have different energy levels, different energy level schemes, and fourth one is different valence electrons. So we know correct option will be option 3, because every atom you take into consideration, the nuclear charge present in every atom will vary, and the electron with which it is held with the nucleus is different. So according to that, when the electron is to be excited to higher energy levels, the amount of energy required for different systems will be different. Because we have different energy level schemes in different atoms, that's why line spectra of every atom is different. First option is not correct option, because neutrons have nothing to do with line spectra. Line spectrum is associated with electrons, and interaction of electron with protons will determine the amount of energy required for the excitation purposes. So neutrons are indicating the mass number. It has nothing to do with the interaction of electrons. They have dissimilar mass number. As I mentioned, mass number has no interactions with it at all. Then the correct option is the electronic scheme. Electrons are present in shells, which we call as electronic configuration. So it is not because different valence electrons are there. It is because each electron in a particular energy level in different atoms will exhibit different properties because of different nuclear attractions. Clear? Good. Let us see next question, children. Question is, the electronic configuration of a dye-positive ion, please write it down, the electronic configuration question 22. So, electronic configuration of a dye-positive ion that we suppose M plus 2 is 2814. 2814. Okay. It is mass number is 56. Mass number given to you is 56. Number of neutrons, options are 32, 42, 30, 34. 32, option B. 42, option C. 30, and option D, 34. These are the options given to us. Now, according to the given electronic configuration, it's a dye-positive ion. Electronic configuration is 2814. So, if I write this metal atom as M, electronic configuration is 2814. Because this is converted to M2 plus, that means it has lost how many electrons? 2 electrons. So we will add those 2 electrons, 2 plus 8 plus 14 plus 2. That will make it 16 plus 8, 24 plus 2, 26. So after it is M2 plus, when it is converted to M, then these 2 electrons should be added, it comes 26. So in a neutral atom, number of electrons equals to what? 26. That means number of protons will also be 26. You could have done it reverse itself, because 2 electrons are lost, so but protons will not be lost. So you can add 2 protons to the actual number of electrons when it is 2 plus. So that will make it 14 plus 8, 22 plus 2, 24 plus 2 protons, that will be 26. So I have shown it the other way as well. So you got how many protons here? 26 here. Electrons 26 in neutral atom. Now it is M2 plus. Has it lost any proton? Definitely not. Now we know atomic mass equals to number of protons plus number of neutrons. What is given to us? Atomic mass. How much? 56. So 56. Number of protons is also given. That is 26. Minus 26 equals to number of neutrons. So number of neutrons will be 30. So correct option will be 30. And you know which element it is? Atomic number is what? 26. So it will be iron. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron. Iron has got atomic number 26. So you can write this one as iron with atomic number 26 and mass number 56. So from here easily you will be in a position to calculate the number of neutrons, protons and electrons respectively. Clear? So what I did, I added the 2 electrons which gave me a neutral atom, and in a neutral atom number of protons equals to number of electrons. I got protons. I already know atomic mass. I got number of protons. I can easily calculate number of neutrons in the chemical species. Right? Good. Correct. Next question. In excited hydrogen atom, when electron drops from n equals to 4, 5, 6 to n equals to 1. So question number 23. So electron drops from 4, 5, 6 to n equals to 1. So in hydrogen atom, when the electron is coming from 4, 5, 6 to energy level 1, we will have which series? Lyman series. Okay. Our question is, there is emission of option A, UV light, option B, visible light, option C, IR light, and option D, radio waves. Naturally it will be ultraviolet light, because this will be exhibited which series? Lyman series, when N1 is 1. So in hydrogen atom, when the electron from excited state come to the ground state, that is energy level 1, we will have which region? Ultraviolet region. And we know this Lyman series is the most strongest region, in which the first line will be least energetic and last line will be most energetic. But this Lyman series, out of all the series of hydrogen atom, is most energetic series. That will lie in which zone? Ultraviolet zone. Excellent. Next question. For a given principal level, n equals to 4. 24th question. For a given energy level, n equals to 4, the order of energies of subshells is, first one, S less than P less than D less than F. Second one, S more than P more than D more than F. Option third, S less than P equal to D equal to F. And option fourth is S more than P less than D more than F. Now, if principal quantum number is same, what is n value mentioned to you children? N value equals to 4. What is L value? 0, 1, 2, 3. That is 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. Principal quantum number is same. Now we know on an average, we have learnt it already, on an average, S from similar principal quantum number subshells is found closest to the nucleus. So S is very close to nucleus compared to P, compared to D and compared to S. S will be found very close to the nucleus, right? Because S out of the same principal quantum number containing suborbitals, it is found more close to the nucleus. So energy of S will be least, more penetrating the shell, more stable the electrons in that particular subshell and more stable the particular subshell. So 4s will be more stable than 4p, then d, then f. So energy of s is less than p, less than d, less than f, because stability and energy are inversely proportional. So if a particular shell is more penetrating, it will be more stable, and it is very difficult to remove the electron from that particular shell. So the energy value will be S less than P less than D less than F. It is not applicable to principal quantum number 4 only. To every principal quantum number containing subshell which is same, like phi S, phi P, phi D, phi F, phi G, everywhere S will be least energetic compared to P, D, F, so on and so forth. Clear? Clear or not? Right. Very good. So let us continue our next question. That will be question number 25. Let us see the question. Question is, how many unpaired electrons are in nickel 2 plus? So as I have mentioned earlier to you children, you have to write the electronic configurations of different elements properly, and after writing electronic configuration precisely, we have been in a position to do all the electronic systems and electronic arrangements. Now we will see, question is given with respect to nickel 2 plus, okay? First of all, we have to find out number of unpaired electrons. So I said question number 26, number of unpaired electrons in nickel 2 plus. Options are 0, 2, 4, 8. 0, 2, 4 and 8. Now, nickel, it's a D block element. And electronic configuration of nickel is 28. Atomic number of nickel is 28, right? So, atomic number of nickel, which is 28, we can write electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, then you have 4s2, before that you are filling what? D, n minus 1, so it will be 3d8. Now you can see here, the total number of electrons that have been lost by nickel are 2 plus. So when nickel converts to nickel 2 plus, what will be electronic configuration? It will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, then you will have 3s2, 3p6, then you will have 3d10. How many electrons have been lost? 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons have been lost out. It has been ionized. Now after 2 electrons are lost, remaining electrons will be only 26. 10 plus 6, 16 plus 2, 18 plus 6, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Sorry, 10 plus 6, not 10. Here will be only 8 electrons. So there will be 26 electrons remaining. Now D has got how many orbitals associated with it? We already know it. And all the D orbitals are degenerate. So how will you give electrons to the D? There are 8 electrons in D. How will you give the electrons? Will you give 2 to 1, 2 to 1, or you will unpair the electrons first with parallel spins? Hund's rule, pairing will not take place in degenerate orbitals unless all are singly occupied. So what I will give here? So 1 clockwise spin. So everywhere I'll keep parallel spin for all these. So I have filled 5 d orbitals one on one. So I have followed Hund's rule. Now the total number of electrons we have are 8. So I have given only 5. So 6th will enter here, 7th will enter here, 8th will enter here. It means out of those 5, 3 will get paired. How many are unpaired now? 2. So these are the 2 electrons which are unpaired. So the total number of electrons which are unpaired in nickel 2 plus are how many? 2. And if you are asked to calculate the magnetic moment also, you can do that. We know that magnetic moment mu equals to root of n into n plus 2 Bohr magnetons. You should understand it, and I have done it during the discussions. So mu equals to root of, what does n mean? N indicates what? Number of unpaired electrons. So what is n here? 2. So that will be 2 into 2 plus 2 Bohr magnetons. Clear? So mu will be equal to 4, 2. So that will be root 8 Bohr magnetons. Almost 2.82 will be the correct option for it. So mu will be root 8 Bohr magnetons, because the number of unpaired electrons are how many? 2. So correct option will be option B children for us. So the number of unpaired electrons in nickel 2 plus are only 2. Good. Next question. Right. The ratio of energy of photon, question is 27th question. The ratio of energy of photon, the ratio of energy of photon with wavelength 2000 angstroms to that of lambda equals to 4000 angstroms is, we have to find out the ratio of energy of the two photons. One of the photon is having wavelength 2000 angstroms and other one is having that of 4000 angstroms. So options are 2, option B is 1 by 4, option C is 4 and option D is 1 by 2. Now very simple, we have to find out ratio of energies. Now we know what is energy of photon equal to, it's equal to h nu, but we have been given wavelengths here. So I'll write E equals to h c by lambda. Shall I call this one as E1? So E1 will be equal to what? H c by 2000 and E2 will be equal to hc by 4000 angstroms. So we can write down E1 by E2 will be equal to hc by 2000, hc by 2000 into 4000 by hc, these will be off. So E1 by E2 will be equal to 2 by 1. So the ratio will be 2 here, 2:1. Now why did I solve it this way itself? So that you can understand I have used the energy of a photon here. You can directly do this equation also, because we know children energy is inversely proportional to wavelength, right? So if you find out the ratio of the two, then E1 by E2 will be equal to lambda 2 by lambda 1. That's what I written. E1 by E2 equals to lambda 2 by lambda 1, because h and hc at the end is cancelling. So you can write directly E1 by E2 equals to lambda 2 by lambda 1. Like last time in calculating energy, I said what? Energy directly proportional to Z. What was the equation? E1 by E2 equals to Z1 square by Z2 square. But it is inversely proportional to principal quantum number. So what did we mention? E1 by E2 equals to N2 square by N1 square. I am giving you the relative equations here as well. What's the correct option? 2:1. So A will be the correct option of this question. Excellent. Next question. If R is the radius of first orbit, if R is the radius of first orbit, the radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom will be, question is very simple. So this is almost question number 28. If R is a radius of hydrogen atom, what will be the radius of nth orbit? Options are Rn square, option B is Rn, option C is R by n, and option D is R square n cube. Very simple equation. We have done a while earlier ratio calculations. We know children, radius is given by A naught into n square by z. A naught into n square by z, yes or no? So R will be equal to A naught. What is the radius of? What's the radius of A naught into n square? So the radius of fifth orbit, nth orbit will be given by radius of first orbit into n square, that is Rn square. So the correct option will be option A. Right children? Correct option will be option A for us. Good. Next question. You are getting the points here or not? Are you clearly understanding what is the discussion going on? So we are using all the concept that we have learned so far. Right. We have a question with respect to energy. The energy of hydrogen atom, 3-4 more questions we will discuss, children. You need to be very clear. Actually, to get few marks from this chapter in competitive exams, just to get 4 marks out of this chapter, all these things what we have discussed so far is to be done. You need to understand every equation precisely. Question is, the energy of hydrogen atom in its ground state is minus 13.6 electron volts. So this is question number 30. So energy of hydrogen atom in ground state is 13.6, it's minus 13.6 electron volts. I am writing the questions in short terms. The energy of the level corresponding to quantum number n equals to 5. The energy of n value equals to 5 is, the energy of n value equals to 5 is the energy corresponding to orbit with n value equals to 5 will be. That's a question which is asked. So naturally, the amount of energy for the 5th orbit will be more or less, according to logic, it should be more. That's a basic thing that you have to understand. Because when we go away from the nucleus, the energy will increase. Let's have a look. So options given to you are minus 0.54 electron volt. Option B, minus 5.40 electron volt. Option C, minus 0.85 electron volt. And option D, minus 2.72 electron volt. This is the question asked to us. Now we know, children, when principal quantum number is increasing, we know when we keep going away from the nucleus, when principal quantum number keeps on increasing, here the value is minus 13.6. Here it should be less than. As we go away from the nucleus, the energy will increase. So minus 13.6, out of these there is possibility for all the options to be the correct, because all these are greater. Yes, but we are talking about the 5th energy level. We know radius of energy of nth orbital is given by minus 13.6 into what? Z square by n square. This is hydrogen atom, Z will be 1. But here n value equals to 5, because principal quantum number 5 means we are talking about n value 5. That makes it minus 13.6 divided by 25 electron volts. So if you solve it out, children, it will be 13.6 by 25. It will be it becomes 136. So it will be 0.136, 25 into 4 will be 100, 25 into 5 will be 125. Yes, then it will be 1, it will be 111, it will be 0. So that makes it 25 into 4, that makes it 100. So this will be 10, then again it will be 4, it will be 0.544 minus. So minus 0.54 is the correct option. That means the energy associated with the principal quantum number n equals to 5 will be minus 0.54, and naturally minus 13.6 is less than minus 0.54. This proves as you keep going away from the nucleus, energy will keep on increasing and losing tendency of that electron will be more. Stability will be less. We have already done these equations clearly, children. Right? Let us solve a different type of question now, not with respect to quantum numbers. Yes. Question number next is 31. Number of spectral lines. Number of spectral lines when electron in hydrogen comes from fifth orbit to ground state. What is the number of spectral line is produced when the electron comes from fifth orbit to ground state? What's the ground state in hydrogen? 1. Options are 5, option B 10, option C 15, and option D 20. Yesterday we have learned how can we calculate the number of spectral lines if it is Lyman series. There are two ways, n into n minus 1 divided by 2 or n2 minus n1 plus 1 into n2 minus n1 divided by 2. This is how you can calculate the number of spectral lines when the electron is coming from fifth energy level to ground state. So there will be so many spectral lines produced. Let us see how many lines will be produced. Number of spectral lines, so we can write it SL also equals to n is 5 into 5 minus 1 divided by 2. 5 fours, 20 by 2 will be 10. Number of spectral lines is 10. Here n2 minus n1 plus 1. n2 minus n1 is 5 minus 1, 4 plus 1, 5. Here it is 4. So 5 into 4 divided by 2. Again it will be 10. So the number of spectral lines produced will be 10. Clear? Excellent. Move forward. See the other question. Question is, the neutral atom of an element has, so question 31, electronic configuration of neutral atom is 2K, 8L, 9M and 2N. Okay, good. The atomic number of the element is, so what is atomic number of that element? It's a neutral atom, so don't add, don't subtract any electrons to it at all. So options are 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, 21, 22 and 23. Now 2K means we have got 2 electrons in first shell, so we can write this one, we can elaborate it out and we can write this one as 1s2, then 2s2, 2p6. Then in principal quantum number 3, it has how many electrons? 9. So that is 3s2, 3p6. So principal quantum number 3, 3s2, 3p6. Then you can write 3d1. There is 1 electron in D also, and n has, for n, which shell? 4 shell. So it is 4s2. Oh, because K is, what is K? K is which shell? Principal quantum number K, 1. This one is 2. This one is 3. This one is 4. Principal quantum number 1 has only one subshell, that is S. I am writing 1s2. Then in principal quantum number 2 has got 2 subshells, S and P, that is 2s2, 2p6. You know that. And there are 9 electrons in M, means third shell has 3s, 3p, 3d. S will be 2, P will be 6, total 8. Remaining is 1, that will be in D. So 3d1, there will be 2 electrons in S. Now count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10. You can directly could have counted here only and calculate the atomic number. Just I elaborated it. So K2, 8 plus 2, 10. 10 plus 2, 12. 12 plus 9, 21. 21 is the first transition element. It is the first element of transition series. That means atomic number will be 20. Because potassium, this will be calcium. Atomic number 20 is calcium. After that only 21, 22. From 21 to 30, you have got 3D series coming into play. So what's the correct option, children? Correct option is 21. And children, this will be scandium with atomic number 21. Very good. Next question. There are so many good questions here. Correct. Let us see that. The energy of electron in the first Bohr orbit of hydrogen is minus 13.6. Which one of the following is the possible excited state for electron in Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom? Question 33. What's your question asking? Energy of electron in first Bohr orbit. First Bohr orbit, energy of the electron is minus 13.6 electron volts. Question is, which of the following shows the excited state? First Bohr orbit, E is 13.6. Which of the following shows the excited state of electron in hydrogen atom? Okay. Options are minus 3.4 electron volts, option B, minus 6.8 electron volts, option C, minus 1.7 electron volts, and option D, 13.6 electron volts. Now keep it in mind, I'm asking you, the question is asking us that out of these given energies, which is the possible excited state of hydrogen atom? We already know that you cannot excite the electron to any level. Whenever you are exciting the electron, it will emit or absorb energy in some discrete quantities so that it shifts from energy level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. We don't have the fractional principal quantum number available. Thus the angular momentum and energy is quantized. MVR is integral multiple of h by 2 pi, and energy emitted or absorbed will be in terms of discrete quanta or the photon, which is energy is given by h mu. Now we know for the first shell electron is 13.6. So energy of nth shell, that is first shell, is minus 13.6 divided by 1 square into 1 square electron volts. This is already given. Now which out of these energies indicates the possible excited state? Now when I say possible excited state, I mean to say then that N2 should be either 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, so on and so forth. Let us see what will be the energy in the second shell. It will be minus 13.6 into Z square by N square. That will make it minus 13.6, because this is hydrogen, Z will be 1, N square for second shell will be 4. So that makes it minus 3.4. So minus 3.4 electron volts is possible when the electron is in second excited state. So minus 3.4 electron volts of energy will indicate the first excited state of that hydrogen atom, and minus 3.4 is indeed mentioned. So definitely this is associated with the excited state of hydrogen. Let us see, if you divide it, minus 13.6 divided by 9, how much is the value? It will be 1.5. So you don't, it is 1.7, it is 13.6. With respect to second energy level, it is 1.5. So do you have any 1.5 here? No. With respect to fourth energy level, it will be 13.6 divided by 16. The values will further keep on becoming less negative. Less negative means more. So 1.7 is not possible with the third energy level. These obviously will not be possible at all. So all of these are not possible with the excited states. The only energy level with excited state, the only excited level energy state will be 3.4 electron volts, and that will be in second shell. Clear? We shall. That will be in second shell, children. Excellent. Let us see next question. Question is, the first ionization potential in electron volts. So question number 34. It is first ionization potential. Ionization potential means the amount of energy required to remove the electron from the atom in the gaseous state. There are many words used for ionization energy. Ionization potential, then ionization energy, ionization enthalpy. And each three definition indicates three different things. So they are not same. Usually we will talk that the ionization potential, ionization energy or ionization enthalpy, they are same, but no, they differ from each other in values and in terms of in terminological terms. So first ionization potential. First ionization potential in electron volts for nitrogen and oxygen is, options are 14.6, 13.6. Second option, 13.6, 14.6. Third option, 13.6, 13.6. Fourth option, 14.6, 14.6. Now here there is an anomaly. When you want to calculate ionization potential, some values should be given to you, but there is nothing given, no information is provided to you with respect to some mathematical terms here. Then we know ionization potential is the amount of energy required to remove the electron. Naturally, if the atom is more stable, the tendency to lose the electron is less. If you want electron to be lost from an atom which is stable, the energy requirement will be more or less, more. So that comes to the electronic structure of nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen's electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1 and 2pz1. Oxygen's electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1 and 2pz1. The number of electrons in p subshell are 4 and the number of electrons in p subshell is 3. We know p can accommodate 6 electrons, and if it is half filled, it's more stable. This is more than half filled. That means nitrogen stability is more compared to the oxygen stability. That also means the amount of energy required to remove the electron from nitrogen will be more compared to that of oxygen. Now, here this first one is given for nitrogen and second one is for oxygen, but we proved nitrogen's ionization energy will be more than oxygen. This is wrong. It cannot be equal. These three are wrong. This will be correct option. For nitrogen, it is 14.6 electron volts, and naturally for oxygen it should be less than that. So correct option will be option first. Am I clear? So we have used ionization energies here in order to solve the question. Am I clear here or not, children? Or clear with the thought? Excellent. So rest of the questions, all of you, we can solve more and more questions with respect to these. So because different style questions I have almost covered. Now you need to make it focused. You need to think, you need to analyze, and you need to see every question, what are the terms given and what are the methods that I have used for solving the question. Practice more so that you can solve more and more questions. Thank you, children.